Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Hard Work of Simple. Here we go. There's a belief many leaders carry into their careers that the more complex your thinking, the more sophisticated your leadership. The more layers you add, the more seriously people will take you. I'd like to challenge that today because I think it's one of the most costly assumptions a leader can carry. Complexity is easy, simplicity is hard, and many leaders have those two backward. Tim Cook said it this way: simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple. Work hard to get your thinking clean. That's not a casual observation. That's a standard. One of the most operationally effective executives in modern business history is telling us that simplicity is the result of effort, not its absence. I worked with a senior leader. Her name was Jane, who had a reputation for brilliant strategy. Her presentations were thorough. Her memos were exhaustive. Her thinking was, by most measures, impressive. But her team was confused, constantly. They could tell you what she said. They couldn't tell you what to do. And in most organizations, that gap between what leadership says and what teams do is exactly where execution dies. Jane wasn't a bad communicator. She was an incomplete thinker. She hadn't done the work of deciding what actually mattered most. So she communicated everything. And when you communicate everything, you're really communicating nothing. We spent weeks together stripping down her strategic framework, not dumbing it down, distilling it. And the clarity that emerged didn't make her look less capable. It made her look more capable than she ever had before. Here's where I see leaders get this wrong. They hear, keep it simple, and they think it means skip the depth, say less, think less, dumb it down for the room. That's not it. That's actually the opposite of what Tim Cook is saying. The work of simplicity happens upstream. You do the deep thinking privately, exhaustively, rigorously. You push through the complexity. And then you surface on the other side of it with something clean, clear, and actionable. The depth isn't gone, it's been metabolized. Dumbing down skips the hard work. True simplicity is what remains after the hard work is done. So here's the reframe I'd like for you to take into your week. Simplicity is not a communication style, it's a thinking discipline. And it's one of the highest leverage skills a senior leader can develop. When your team is confused, don't blame the team. Trace it back. Somewhere upstream, the thinking was not finished. A priority wasn't made. A trade-off was not acknowledged. A choice was not forced. Your job as a leader is to do that work so your team doesn't have to. You absorb the complexity. You translate it into clarity. That's the work. That's leadership. Before your next communication, your next strategy session, your next town hall, ask yourself one question. Have I actually finished thinking about this? Not have I thought about it long enough, not have I included every relevant consideration, but have I pushed through to the other side where the real answer lives, the simple one, the one someone can act on. If you haven't, keep going. The thinking isn't done yet. Tim Cook didn't build one of the most valuable companies in history by making things more complicated. He built it by doing the hard cognitive work that most leaders avoid and then delivering clarity at scale. Complexity creeps in when leadership has not decided. Simplicity arrives when leadership has done its job. The standard isn't how much you know, it's how clearly you can lead. Start there.